I can't recall the order that you submitted the videos in, whether you submitted B's first and then Mookie's or vice versa, but I did do the feedback for Mookie first. So if you happen to click on this link, I would go and watch Mookie's first and then come back to this, just because there is going to be some consistency on things as well. Now, notice in terms of the commitment, a little bit of the same thing. I feel like you're waiting for physical commitment to get going, especially with B. I think you can trust her commitment even more than you can his. Notice that little bit of head checking right there. I mean, for B, she is so advanced for her age that we are getting very nitpicky, but she should already be looking forward and driving for the tunnel at that point. So make sure you're getting that tunnel verbal out nice and early and really look to get going downstream. Now, I don't know who you ran first, but if you were burned off of Mookie's pulling off of that jump, right? With him, you used so much outside arm that you pulled him off. You then overcorrected with her, because we can see absolutely no shoulder rotation in outside arm. So moving forward, pause right there, but you're just getting that shoulder rotation as she's in the air. We don't want so much outside arm that she thinks it's a throttle, but you probably could have used a little bit more rotation there to tighten up that turn. I didn't feel like there was any real strong weight shift or added stride for her to come around there. Now, the thing about her is she can hit the ground and cover so much ground with her speed that sometimes, she's going to be better off not adding the stride and going quick. And I know we've done a little bit of timing of that in the past. I don't know if this 270 is going to be one of those scenarios as well, where rather than adding a stride, we just want her to go a little wider but maintain speed. When she lands here, she does the same 2 strides there that Mookie does. So I know you often think of her as having a lot more extension, but they actually both did the same amount of strides there, which is basically more of a, good boy for Mookie. Good send here. I mean, she's doing really nice there. Once she gets the idea that she's going to the tunnel, we get rid of that head check a little bit and she starts driving forward. Good deceleration, right? Because look at when you're stopped, right? There was your last stop. Right, that was your last step, and she's a third of the way. So really good timing on that decel, but notice that you don't leave until she's airborne again. So rather than leaving on mental commitment, you're waiting for that physical commitment. It gave you time to get over for that front cross in this situation, but I don't want you to get into that habit of always waiting for her to physically take off to get going downstream. Look for that mental commitment. When you see that she's going to take the jump, get going. So a nice wrap there. Very bendy, very flexible. All right, the line out this direction actually allows, as a handler, you to get further ahead. Again, very good timing of that deceleration. And in this one, you don't really have to take off running. So even though we talk about wanting to get going, you don't have to take off running as much as that one, because you're doing a rear cross. Now, Mookie did a way better rear cross on the flat than her, because hers ended up being more of a direct line and more of a rear cross at the jump. So as far as rear crossing on the flat, he actually did a better job. It looked like she anticipated the flip over. I don't know if maybe you did a rep or two before this particular one, but do make sure if you're trying to get her to turn on the flat that you do have enough control to turn her on the flat and that she's not making the decision to go to that jump. All right, hopping over to the challenge. All right, sending to the backside, still wanting to stay ahead here, and you can see you're already behind. So again, same thing that we saw a little bit with Mookie, trying to get going, send to the backside and go. I felt like you waited just enough to make sure she was going. And then now when she jumps, head position is curling back over her right shoulder there, checking in with you. So we want to get a little bit more trust on that send to the backside. See if you can already be running into that wing as she lands off of 2. I think maybe that starts by just leaving the lead out push a little bit more. I don't know that I felt like you over-supported the backside, but because you hung out here to make sure she was committed here or to make sure she was collecting, all right, this one you can see you left earlier, and now look at the difference where she's coming in behind you. So a nice compare and contrast on what the difference is between when you hold your ground at 2, yes, you can demand the turn, but then you're going to fall behind in anything you gained at 2, you're going to lose on your way to 4, or trusting that she's going to respond to that recall, leaving a little earlier, getting yourself downstream and having a better line on 3 to 4. And that's just kind of going to be something you have to play around with in terms of which is better. Nice turn here, nice throttle, doing that all on the inside arm, so definitely a more advanced version of a throttle. And that turn to the left, just so much less efficient than the turn to the right. I can say almost for all of the dogs that I've watched on this small space challenge, the turn to the right is going to be the faster and smoother option, but a good chance to get up here and work that wrap to the left. I will say that, you know, she's not giving you a fantastic turn for the amount of decel that you're using here. Maybe lower that bar, right? Maybe she'd be more inclined to wrap tighter when you lower that bar to bring her back around, because I feel like she could be doing better there compared to what I've seen her in past sessions. So good work here with B. Again, watch Mookie first because there was a lot of similarities, but I think the big thing is just you get going downstream with both dogs, really recognizing that difference between mental and physical commitment.